Hello beautiful people, welcome back to our channel. Of course, some few days ago Fubara resumed and there was a mammoth crowd that came all out to welcome him. Apparently strong loyalists of Wike, and of course those who are also in support of the Rivers State House of Assembly could not help but speak out on the rift that's actually going on, even though there seemed to be peace according to them. And of course a strong ally of APC and a PDP member, a strong PDP member, a politician, have decided to speak on the issue of the Supreme Court and the verdict that is awaiting this whole drama that is unfolding. Before we go into the newspaper, please subscribe to our channel. Let's start with what is going on in River State. Now, according to Amaewhule, President General of the Grassroots Development Initiative GDI and the loyalist of the FCT Minister Wike has criticized Governor Siminalayi Fubara's supporters for their airport reception, calling it an act of enmity towards members of the State House of Assembly. Amaewhule expressed surprise that the governor allowed such a gathering, which he believes widened the rift between Fubara's supporters and those loyal to Wike. Now, to bridge this divide, Amaewhule suggested that the governor of Fubara organize a meeting with leaders from Wike's camp to foster peace and ensure smooth state administration. He questioned the logic behind welcoming the governor while ignoring members of the State Assembly, emphasizing the need for reconciliation. Now, the development highlights the ongoing power struggle between Governor Fubara and Minister Wike, with their supporters frequently clashing, and the Supreme Court recently affirmed the legitimacy of the Amaewhule-led State House of Assembly, a significant setback for Governor Fubara's administration. And don't forget that just a few hours ago, Fubara was also seen with the president, also reaffirming that he's at peace with his Oga. The Oga here is actually the FCT minister. But meanwhile, in another related development, Omar Sani, the spokesperson of the 2019 People's Democratic Party Presidential Campaign Council, has strongly criticized the state of Nigeria's judiciary, saying it has failed in its duty as the guardian of truth and justice. Now, according to him, this silence is not accidental, it is deliberate, and it is tragic. The Supreme Court has abandoned its role as the guardian of justice once it stood tall as a symbol of fairness, where ordinary Nigerians could expect the law to prevail over power. Today, it has become a tool of regime protection. Sani went further to accuse the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Kudirat Kekere-Ekun, of presiding over decisions that have eroded public confidence. He cited instances where the court departed from established precedents without convening the mandatory full panel of 7 justices, and also faulted its intervention in Rivers State local government election disputes, which by law should have ended at the Court of Appeal. He argued also that the refusal of the court to rule on the propriety of the emergency rule in Rivers State was the most damaging evidence of compromise. In his words, and I quote, "By avoiding the case, the court has shown its unwillingness to confront the executive on constitutional questions." He added that Wike's insistence that PDP governors withdraw their suit as a condition for peace reflected a fear of the likely outcome, and when that failed, the strategy shifted to delay, leaving the case unresolved. Okay, but let's quickly just look at what he said quickly. He said, the judiciary has lost its voice. In 162 days, the highest court in Nigeria failed to determine the case brought by 11 PDP governors against the federal government. The matter was straightforward yet historic, a challenge to the removal of Governor Fubara and the appointment of the sole administrator in Rivers State. Instead of delivering justice, he said the case file has been left on a dusty shelf untouched. According to him, this silence is not only accidental, it is actually deliberate. My colleague is in the house. One bright Amaewhule is saying that Fubara should not have allowed his supporters to welcome him specially. That is clearly showing that they are spiting the House of Assembly members, River State House of Assembly members, and it should have dispersed this crowd to show that there's no divide, that he's actually setting a wide divide. And to make sure that there's true peace, he should call his followers, the leadership of his followers, and the leadership of Yesubike's followers, and mend fences. That's when true peace exists. And here is Omar talking about the fact that Judiciary has failed Fubara, failed Nigeria, and failed in its duties. What's your take?
Well, Fubara actually does not know the people he has. He doesn't know his strength, political strength, possibly because he's not a politician, and that's why they dislike seeing him sustain high level of supporters. They don't like it because they know that every time he has those people for keeps, it's a pointer to the fact that he has not been separated from them, and using him, or that in future a lot of things may be distorted. So they want a situation whereby he can be kept to themselves. Amaewhule yesterday, grassroots democracy, that I think JDI, yes, the leader of JDI, yes. And Bright Amaewhule. Yesterday when he was interviewed, I saw the video and he was confused throughout I love the fact that the guy who was questioning him was doing a good job. I noticed that he lost word. He didn't even know what he was saying at the point because it was very absurd. Everything that made up his reasoning, or they made up that speech, every word he used, he was fighting to get those words. Not that he's not articulate enough, but when it's just like defending a wrong government, you see that you'll be struggling. And that was exactly what happened. People were a lot of questions the interviewer was asking him. He couldn't really give reasons why he didn't want supporters to be there. Because for him, supporters being there was a clear pointer to the fact that they have lost. And the fact that their own Oga at the National Assembly level, they resumed without Nigerians gathering to welcome them and all of that. So it was such a big pain for them, So, but unfortunately, Fubara does not know the importance of
what he even has.
What he has, He just believed that I'm suing for peace, whatever it takes, even if it means trading everything, I'm cool with it and all of that. And that's where the problem is. Not about Supreme Court. We leave Supreme Court and Judiciary in the hands of God, hoping that one day they will wake up or somebody would come up, will have judges who are like activists who really want to sustain the democracy. Because unfortunately, what is playing out, especially in this issue of River State, broke a lot of people's heart and took every ounce of trust we had in the judiciary away. But we are still hopeful that with time there will be this generation of judges in Nigeria who will restore back the dignity that judiciary have had before now. Because being the last hope of a common man was one of the arms of government that whenever you turn to them, they refuse to submit to the executive no matter what. Unfortunately, the legislature have submitted, but it's heartbreaking that judiciary had also joined submitting to executive. But we are hopeful that somehow in the future they will be restored back. That's just my hope.
All right, that's where we're going to wrap it up. Let's meet